All right. Now we'll be talking about this daytime operations. The one of the biggest reasons for using this pandas is ability to work with the daytime, that is time series data. So it's most important topic and it plays a lot of important role even in the real time data analysis because you may have you may going to work with the data that is the certain points where you wanted to grab the data with the certain points. That means you don't wanted to perform the complete analysis on the complete data rather than you pulling up only the data which is a year data or a month data, right? It may happen, it's a very common operations in terms of pandas. So how we can able to do this kind of operations. So let us come to this. The Python has a built-in datetime object. Let me write it down here if you want it. Python has a built-in datetime object that is found in the datetime library in the Python itself. I'm not talking about this pandas right now, right? But how do we work with this datetime operations? First of all, it's a very basic fundamental idea should be there. So let's say here, I'm saying that from datetime, right? Import datetime itself, right? I'm running this cell. It's very perfectly fine. Now, suppose if you wanted to get the current time, the current date and time. So what do you need to do? Let's say the current it's equals to, I'm saying it now, the date time dot now, which is a method which is going to give you the current date and time. Say I'm running this cell, then I'm saying the current is equals to this. Say the 2018 12th, that is December 19th date, and we are at 7, 19 means 7 o'clock and 48 minutes and 31 seconds, it's nanoseconds. Simply it's going to give you the current date time formats, right? So this is something that date time, using date time to get the current, to get current date and time, right? Suppose if you want to create your date manually, let's say, so let's say we can also create our own date time, our own date time manually. How can we create our date manually, date time manually? Object, and I'm talking about, let's say the t1 is equals to the date time dot now. It's going to return the current date in the format of year, month, day, and hours and nanoseconds, seconds, all these things. Yeah. Then I'm saying that t2 is equals to date time, right? Let's say 1970, the first month and first date, right? Then if I'm trying to going to find the difference between these two, let's say, if I'm trying to going to find the difference between these two, so we got an error that the t2 is not defined, so I need to give the is equals to here, right? Then we can actually find the difference. We can actually find the difference between t1 and t2. So how can we do that? So the difference, let's say the t1 minus t2, right? The latest date minus the previous date, right? So I'm saying that here the difference. So now look at this, 17,884 days. That's the difference from 1970 year, first month, then January month and first day. From there to the current date, 2018 12 December 19th date. If you wanted to get the difference of between these two dates, it's saying that there are 17,884 days. The seconds are this and the microseconds are this. Yeah. So if let us say what is the type of this particular the difference whenever you're trying to find it out. So it says that's the time delta. And it's more important, guys, whenever you're trying to get the difference between two dates, the difference, you're trying to find the difference. That means how much gap is there, how many days are there in between this date to the other date. Then it's going to return the time delta. It's more important, guys. You keep on getting this anyway. I'm not doing anything over here. Let's say if you want to convert, if we wanted to convert, let's say we're going to pull some data from, from the, the GitHub account that we have it right now. Yeah. So from there, we're going to actually see the lot of operations with the date time. So first of all, let me go and pick it up this, the country time series data. Let's say right now here, import pandas as PD. I'm running this cell and I'm saying that Ebola is equals to PD dot read underscore CSV. Then paste in here and I'm running this cell. You can actually see the Ebola dot shape. It has 122 data and 18 columns that we have it. Let us look at this, the columns as well. And we have these many columns, date column that we have. It's more important because we're going to work this date column right now. We have day. There are so many cases like, the cases in so many countries over here. So that's in cases, right? So coming to the point here. So let's say I'm going to acquire to show you the sample data of this data set. iLoc of 5 rows and 5 columns, not exactly, not complete data, right? So this is this way. Then if you want to find out the more information about this data set, it's going to give you the complete information about. Look at this very specifically, the date column is, these are the dates column, right? These are all. It is not in the date time format. It is simply an object type. That means it's an equivalent form of object in the pandas. In the Python is string. So it is in the string form right now. But we don't want it in the string form because we have so many things. We have so many operations that we can able to perform through this date. Exactly. So how can we convert this particular date to date time, perfect date time formatting? So in order to do that, let me say, I'm going to create for the convenience, I'm going to create one of the column here, the date, sorry, my bad. Let's go dt, right? So I'm saying that is equals to the PD dot. PD is a pandas. We have a direct function to underscore date time. So you just need to pass which column that you want to convert them, right? Let's say this is the column that I want to convert it, right? So let's say Ebola dot iLoc, right? iLoc, and I'm looking at this. Then the very first rows of data, the last 15, after 15 columns, whatever there it's going to be printed off. So we got generated this date underscore dt just now. Now if you can observe, what is the type of this? Let's say Ebola dot info again, the method. Then it's going to tell you it's purely data formatted. So we clearly converted this particular date to purely date time formatted. So we can able to access more conveniently according to the dates, years, months, whatever it's so, right? So what I can do right now, see, we can even directly, instead of, first loading the data and then we converting this column into, date time format. If you know the data already, which is there, if you know the data, which is, there is a date column, which is there, you can directly pass at the read CSV function here, saying that the parse underscore dates is equals to, it's a 0th column. If you know the data, and if you know that this is 0th column because it's at the very first column, and coming to the indexes, it is a 0th column. If you pass this, if you use this, keyword argument, right? It's a predefined keyword argument, right? If you use this, if you pass the index positions, it's directly going to be converted into a date time formatted. Rather than, first reading it, then converting into specifically like this, creating a new column and letting know that this is this, right? It's simply, by the time it's reading only, it's going to be converted into date time formatted. It's more conveniently. But I'm not doing so that because we already done it, right? By dividing into the steps, right? So let's say I'm going to perform few operations here for your convenience. Let's say the PD dot, let's say, is equals to PD dot to underscore date time. I'm going to create a new object here saying that, let's say, the 2016 or anything so. And I'm saying 2, or you can take this 28, whatever it's so. Yeah. Then I'm running it. So let's say I'm printing this date. Say it's 2016, second one, February 28th, and we have nothing else because we did not mention anything there. Just, hours, minutes, seconds. The point is, if I want to access only the year, if I want to access only the month, if I want to access only the date from this object I'm talking about, so how can I do that in sense? Simple. The d dot year. We have an attribute called year. If you want to access the month, the second. If you want to access the day is 28. Very perfect, right? But if it is a object that is a string in the form, you cannot perform these kind of operations. Of course, we just accessed it right now, but we're going to make a lot of operations at this time. So look at this right now. All right, let's see first this operation, say the Ebola of, we have, okay, I'm going to try to get to show you the difference, right? Same values is going to be there. Say the Ebola, I'm sorry. Here I'm going to use the 2 columns. That is the reason I'm taking 2 lists in the form. So here, comma, the date underscore dt. And I'm saying that here I don't want to view all of them. So say the same thing, right? For the reference, we have these columns. That is the reason we are able to access them properly. Let's say right now I wanted to get separated. I want to get separated this year as a column, month as a column, and day as a column, different columns. Let's say I'm saying here the Ebola of, we don't have this column, right? Then I'm going to create this using the same as that. So Ebola of, let's say the date underscore dt, okay? Then I'm saying that there is something called dt. It's something that we have used somewhere like a str. Whenever you're trying to make a string kind of operations, we used as an str dot some split or something so. Whenever you're trying to make a date kind of operations, now we're trying to access this particular column, then to make a datetime operations on this, anything to acquire it as well. So you can actually use this dt, right? Dt is not defined somewhere. It is, I'm telling you, it can be used as a datetime operations. It can be used for the datetime operations. So here we can say that year, right? Then I'm trying to print it. Let's say right now Ebola of the date. Then it's going to give you this, the date underscore dt. This is this. Then I'm trying to get only the 5 out of it. So we got an year. So this is done by for their syntax. You need to understand this dt is nothing. This dt is for the datetime operations. So you have to use this in order to get the year from this datetime. So what I did, I just separated this year as a new column. If you can see the 2015, 2015, 2014 and 2014. If you want to look at this tail, let's say, okay, let's say, same thing is going to come, say the 2014, 2014, 2014, 14, all the 14s, right? If you want to look at this, let's say 20 out of it, say all the 2014s and all the 2014s are just separated using this dt. I'm trying to access only the year from this dt column, date underscore dt column. From this column, if I want to access only the year, I can access this way. And it's most important, guys, and check it out this. So let me limit it to this y for now. Yeah. So if you want to create a month and day, same way, see the Ebola of month, I don't have it this, right? If you want to check it, check it. Say we don't have that column, right? So I'm going to create this, and we don't have this day also. Let me create this day as well. So I'm saying it is equals to, right? Then I'm saying that we can actually take it in the form of list or take it in the form of triple. It doesn't matter for you. Even if you directly mention, the values, it's okay. Still, see Ebola of the date underscore dt, right? Then I can say that dot dt, it's going to take only the month. Now, that is this. The previous step, we are trying to look at the year, then we got year as this is here, right? Now we're trying to look at the month, then it's going to take only this, right? Only if you use this way, but if you do not use this way, you cannot able to access this month. That is, it's separately dividing the column, the date column into separate this way, right? Then I can say that here, this is one, and we can also say Ebola of date underscore dt, right? And dt dot day, as simple as this. So right now, the Ebola, okay, the Ebola of this, let's say the date, this is date underscore dt, this is year, this is month, and this is day. Look at this. The very first month, the first month. The fifth day, the fifth day. The year is 2015, 2015. What we have done is we just split the date into the different parts, like in a year, month, and day, right? All right. Now the point is here. The point is here. Where is it, guys? Yeah. So let me limit this data to 5 only. So look at this. Yeah. Now the point is, let's say how can we find the minimum date in the date underscore dt column? How can I know the the earliest date in this? How can I know the minimum date in this? So in order to get that way, so let's say the Ebola of let's say the date underscore dt. Okay, from this column, I wanted to find out. The minimum date in sense the starting date, and when the minimum date is started, right? When the maximum, the earliest date is where, right? What is that date? So I'm going to get to know that this is now, okay, I came to know that this is the first date. I mean to say I'm trying to find the minimum date from from the given column, right? Good to go, guys. Now if I want to find out, let's say the date underscore dt dot max, then I'm going to get the maximum date, the 2015 first month and fifth day, right? Now, can we get the difference between these two, not only these two dates? For every date, let's say we came to know that, uh, we came to we came to know that this is a very minimum date from the given column. So if I subtract every date with this, I'm going to get the number of days difference, right? Simple as that. So let's say, let us do some calculation on this. What I'm trying to say is I'm going to get the difference between this date, and we came to know that this is a minimum date in the given column. So I want to find out the difference between this day and this date. So how many days difference? So in order to do that thing, let's say I'm going to take this, I'm going to create a new column, of course. Let's say that Ebola of, let's say outbreak in sense, the finding earliest date is date, the difference between. I'm saying that the days or something, right? See here the Ebola of the date underscore dt. Okay, let me make a clear structure over here. the minus, so every date minus this, because it is the minimum date that we found it. So let me actually copy this directly and paste it over here. Simple as this. So we came to know that this is a minimum date. You're trying to minus with every date. You're going to get the difference between, you're going to get the difference days. So differences is going to be assigned to the new column, that outbreak underscore days. Let's say right now here. So Ebola of, let's say, date, the day, and the, my bad. So my bad. Let's say it's a day also we have it. So let me say here the outbreak days. And I don't want to view all of them. Oh my bad. It's not tails, guys. Now look at this. The difference between, if you can look at this date right now here, this date to this date, the minimum date is 5 days, right? Even if you want to have this together as here, let's say the date underscore dt, right? Then that's it. Look at this. From this date with this date, you're minusing, you're actually taking this as this, and minus this date is just a 5 days difference, right? This date and this date minus, then it's a 4 days difference. If we can look at this, this is this. If you want to look at the head of this, say 289 days difference from 2015 first month and 5 days, 5th day, to 2014 third month, March 22nd date. There are 289 days difference.